Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Salam Media. It is now 10 past 8 on the dot. You tuned into your favorite sports show of the week on a Friday evening live on Salam Media with me, your host, Thaakir Dawood. I'm going to be chatting to a very special guest this evening. This week, we're commemorating International Women's Day that took place earlier this week. And in doing so, we're going to be chatting to the first certified referee in South Africa, Akhona Makalima, and her journey in football and how she's managed to get to the pinnacle of South African football and what her referee journey has been about. Akora, good evening. Thank you for joining me on Salam Media this evening. It's always a pleasure having a groundbreaking woman on the show.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's such a pleasure having you on the show. International Women's Day earlier this week. What did you get up to on International Women's Day?
On International Women's Day, what did I do again? Let me think. I remember. We're celebrating the International Women's Day with my GSMP sister, the Global Sports Mentorship Program. So what we were doing, we were just calling each other, checking up on how busy our schedules are and how far are we with our programs that we are doing in our respective countries in giving back to other women and also inspiring other women in sports. So that is basically our program. And we were like saying to the other girls, strong women, better wealth. So we had that hashtag going. It was just beautiful. That's what we were basically doing, thinking of each other, what we need help, and how can we assist each other. So yeah.
And you said that you had international people with you on that. And what was the mood like with what's been done in South Africa and what's been done internationally? Are we somehow on the same page, or are we industry leaders in South Africa?
I don't want to lie. South Africa, we are trying. I believe currently in Africa, we are one of the best countries that are really trying to empower women when it comes to sports. I know that we are very far from some of the countries. Oh yes, the first world countries, we are going to be far. But trust me, we are not where we were yesterday. Having the National League, the Women's National League, I think that is something beautiful happening. And if you look at other referees, we also have up and coming referees, promotional in the promotional and the development stages. South Africa is doing so well. Even if you look at other parts of sports, you see we have presenters that are now doing your Soweto Berries. You see those things, but back in the days, you could only see men doing those duties. But now, women are being trusted to perform those duties. So personally, I feel like we as South Africa, we are stepping to the right direction. Even though we are not where we want to be, but we are going. I feel like there is a good change in South Africa. Slowly but surely, we are going there. I'm really happy and I'm proud of South Africa. I don't want to lie.
Well, we're definitely proud of you as a South African citizen. We're proud of you being the flag bearer for women's sport in South Africa and taking the baton and obviously moving forward. Akhona, your journey in football, where did it all start? I mean, you're currently in the PSL on the panel of referees. Interest is always going to be on you week in and week out. You've been watched to the magnifying glass. Where did your journey in football start?
Oh my goodness. First of all, let me say thank you so very much. Well, I've never been I didn't know that at one stage of my life I would be a referee. That has never been in my plans. I've always wanted to play football. But funny enough, I'm coming from a rugby community. In my community, so I was this athletic girl back in the very stages of my life. I was very athletic. So at school, I would perform all the sporting codes. I played soccer, I played rugby, I played baseball, I've been doing athletics. So when you are that active as a child, they will always want to try you in all the sporting codes. So when I tried, I remember I was playing rugby when we were introduced to soccer. So they were introducing soccer in our school. Then I was left-handed. So they saw me playing, okay, Akhona is left-handed. We need a left back. So they told me I played left back. played over there and I was like, I like this thing. I continued playing. I played football for 11 years. When I decided to stop playing football after college because of lack of development in women's sport, I was like, I don't want to fall out of sport, but I'm out of college. I cannot play competitive anymore. And also, I'm coming from the Eastern Cape. There's no like development structure, no competitive league at that time. So, luckily, South African Football Association at that very time in my province, they were looking for women who want to be referees. So I was like, I don't want to fall out of sport. I love sport. It's my passion. Let me try refereing. So refereeing has never been like my plan A. It was my plan B, but it turned out to be plan A. So that's how it all started. Other people that say I am an accidental referee, I don't know, because I've always wanted to play for the national team. I've always wanted to play football. But where I come from, it was not as easy for me to play football because if I wanted to play football professionally, I needed to move and probably go to Johannesburg, Cape Town, or Durban. But it was not going to happen because of the background, and my mother was not supportive of me playing football and not doing my books or focusing on my education and acquiring a qualification. So I wasn't going to say, okay, Mama, I'm leaving. I'm going to Cape Town because I want to pursue my football career. She was not going to allow that because she wanted me to have a career. So I was like, no, studies as on your gift. So I stayed in the province, pursued refereeing, and it turned out to be something that I love and I'm passionate about it. So sometimes you don't know what you really love until you are directed into another direction, and I love it.
No, that's so true. That's so true. And you also said that your mom also said that you have to go chase a career, and that's so important for everybody in the sporting industry. We recently just spoke to the hockey team's captain, and they were saying how they're an amateur team, but they're going to the Olympics and they're actually struggling to raise funds so that they can go. Akhona, back to that topic in having a career in sport. At the time, sport wasn't exactly professional in South Africa, and women's sport, for that matter, is still not completely professional in South Africa.
Yeah.
Was there some sort of a stigma attached to you being that involved in sport? Is there a stigma attached when it comes to women that are this actively involved in sport?
Yeah, there is a stigma that you guys are not qualified. Sometimes that you don't even know what you were doing. I remember when I started in my community, I'm sorry to say this, but people thought that I'm a lesbian. So they would be like looking at me down, but no, you think that you are a boy and all those things. It was like you look at it and then they want to say that you are something that you are not. And all the time you are reminded that you want to be a boy. And you don't want to be a boy, but you just want to do what they are doing. And you are enjoying it. And this is what, like, I find comfort, I find happiness. I feel like I am fulfilled. I am doing what I love. You know, all the time when you walk around, they look at you and like, no, she wants to be a boy. And I didn't want to be a boy. You know, when you grow up, knowing that people are stigmatizing and they're looking at you and then when you are now getting professional, you are being questioned that, no, you don't belong here. You belong in the kitchen and all those things. So there is a stigma that will always be a label against women that we want to be men, but why are we not doing netball? So when I'm officiating, sometimes in the field they will say, why are you not wrestling netball? Why are you doing here? You always want to do everything that men do. That is the problem of me. And the bottom line is that we don't want to do everything that men want to do. We want to do what we love. We want to do what we are passionate about. And also, I always tell people that I don't want to be a man. I don't want to be the next so and so. I just want to be me. Why must I be the next so and so? Why must I want to be a man while I can be myself? So, yeah, there's a whole lot of.
No, that's so true. And I'm glad that women like yourself are coming forward and obviously changing the narrative of the way that women are seen in South Africa and in the world as a whole. And on that point, we're talking of the way women are seen. Do you find that as a referee at the highest level, there isn't many female referees at the highest level? What is the reception like by the players when you obviously officiate in a match? Is it somewhat different compared to what they'd have for a a Victor Gomes, for example, or one of your other quality top refs in the PSL?
Okay. Let me repeat the question. I'm not sure if I heard you correct because my signal is acting up. So what you're asking is, do I get like the same treatment as other elite referees? Do players respect me in that regard, or something different because I'm a woman?
Yes, that is correct. That is exactly what I'm asking. Yeah.
So I don't. To be honest with you, I feel like players will always want to shake you. It doesn't matter who you are, and also, for me, when I go in the field of play, I also don't want people to look at me because I'm a woman. When I enter the field of play, I carry myself as a referee. I just carry myself as a woman referee in the field. I don't want to attract unnecessary attention to myself. And also, when I step there, I command my own respect. I do not want you to respect me like Victor Gomez. I do not want to officiate like Zambeka so that players can respect me. No, I do what I do the way I have my own style, with my own management style that I do when I step in the field of play, so that I don't want people to start comparing me with another referee or start comparing me with Sabom. But no, she is dishing out red card because she thinks that players will respect her, or she will want to discriminate players so that they respect it. No, when I step in the field of play, I command my own respect, and I respect players so that they can respect me back. Bottom line is that you are working over there by player kicking the ball. I am working here when I blow the whistle. So we all have to respect each other and also respect each other's job. So when I step in the field of play, I feel like in the Premier Soccer League, players are so respectful. In the club, I also feel like players are respectful. You get a lot of challenges when you go to the lower division. Obviously, in the lower division, there is not a lot of security and all of that. And other players that are still coming out, they still think that they can question all the decisions and all of that. So professional players, when I blow a whistle and you start to complain or whatever, I tell you that I cannot be explaining this decision to you at this level. You're supposed to know this. So sometimes that's what I do. I have my own style of management.
And I think it's ultimately just comes down to managing the game. Because you're obviously there to manage the game and not to coach. So it certainly makes it easier for the players when you don't give them much of an explanation because they need to figure that out for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, being a female referee in the PSL, quite a journey. What are some of the interesting players that obviously caught your eye on the field of play, or some characters that there was on the field of play? Have you ever come across any, and which one of the players are one of your funnier players in the PSL?
Who is the most serious player that I've ever came across in the Premier League? Let me think. I think Morgan Gold.
Yeah, Morgan Gold.
Yeah. Which one? Morgan Gold is very naughty, so you have to be very careful when he is in the game because he might change your game. And also, I think Malongwana is very hard. He can foul other people. And also there will be like pretty quick players like Kamagliat. You have to be very close to play when he's playing because any touch might be a penalty, but you have to be there, angle off you, and see all of those things. And Itiwena Kune, you need very good management when he's in the field of play. I think there is quite a number of players.
I mean, it must be quite interesting keeping up with the likes of Kama Billiard and Morgan Gold, big, certainly an individual that would have influence on not say specifically instances in the matches because of his big physique and obviously his bold personality as a whole. But I mean, let's go back to you and your career. I mean, what is your first match at the highest level? And I mean, tell me more about that match.
My very first game in the Premier Soccer League, the biggest game in the Premier League that I've officiated was the Mamelodi Sundowns and Platinum, I think. Or the Celtics and Kaizer Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
quite a
know.
big one. I mean, Celtic
I
has a
feel like,
massive fan base, and Kaiser Chiefs has
yeah,
one of the Kaiser Chiefs, one of the biggest
I
teams
think
in
Kaiser
Africa.
Chiefs and I think Kaiser Chiefs and yes, I think it was one of my big games, and I was super scared when I was going to do those games. Sometimes you think about really there are a lot of fans, and then you think about the prominent players that you would be doing others. You know, when you are still up and coming, you feel like
Mm.
I saw this player. You was playing while I was still a soccer player myself, or I remember my first game when I was officiating in the summer. I think the summer was still playing for Black Aces at the time. Oh my goodness! When I stepped in the field, I was like, "Yo, this guy, how am I gonna go with no listen against this how am I gonna run next to this person because he might be quicker than me or all of those things." And then you look at the stadium full of fans. I'm a woman. What if I make a mistake? They will say, "Yeah, there she is a woman. She doesn't belong here." So yeah,
Mm.
I've done quite a number of games, but I always say you know what, Akona, this game is just the same game that you were doing with in the LSA, but it's just that now you are in a beautiful stadium with a lot of fans, but the law doesn't change. The interpretation doesn't change, and the application doesn't change. Just go there, participate, and just blow the foul. If you see a foul, it's a foul. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. So that is what I basically do when I am faced with such situations.
No, it's quite interesting, and like you said, it was a dream. Running besides these players, the likes of Collins, Mesuma, Kamabiliat, and I mean, the opportunities are just endless in football. What is your dream game that you would one day want to officiate?
In South Africa, I would love to officiate the derby. I think that is one of my biggest
Mm.
dreams in the country. I can officiate a derby. I'll say, "Mama, I've made it."
No, definitely. And if you look worldwide, internationally, what would it be? An Olympic final? Would it be a World Cup final? What are some of your aspirations as a female
You
referee?
know what? You know what? Internationally, continentally, if I can do a final of the World Cup and break barriers for African referees and
Mm.
prove it to the world that the African referees they can still do it and they can bring it. I believe that we have a lot of potential. I feel like if African referees can be given a chance and an opportunity to perform in the like equally, we can perform and we can officiate the final. And I am hoping that one day I'll be that first woman, that first African girl to officiate the World Cup. I would love to officiate the FIFA World Cup. But if only we cannot be, I feel like we are maybe undermined in the sense that we don't have a lot of competitions or our football is not as competitive as maybe Europe and all of that. If they can forget about that and say, "You guys, there is an opportunity. Let's look at the opportunity. Don't look at other things that you don't have good teams, you don't have good rankings. Just give us an opportunity. Look at our potential and what we can do." I feel like one day I will do. Um, I would love to do a final of a World Cup.
Well, I think
Inshallah.
it's certainly possible. Inshallah, we can definitely make sure that it happens. I mean, we've got Patrice Motsepe that was announced, Dr. Patrice Motsepe that was announced as the CAF president earlier this afternoon. And in his manifesto, he certainly wants to improve women's participation in football in the continent. Do you think that this will open up doors for you and your fellow female referee colleagues on the continent? I mean, if we can conquer Africa, we could then go on and possibly conquer the world.
Yeah, you know what? Already CAF has started. CAF is doing has already started a great job, but is now introducing women in their men's competition. I mean, I was at the under 20 AFCON for the first time. I was the only female referee that was there, with two assistant referees. That was a big step. Even in the Chan, they had a trio of women. So CAF is really trying to increase women participation in sport, particularly refereeing. I'm very happy. Even at the COSAFA in the region, we were like they introduced a trio of women, even
Mm.
in the under 20 and the under 17. Hopefully, they are still going to add another trio at COSAFA men at the seniors. So I feel like CAF, yes, is doing a great job, and we are going to the correct direction. Hopefully, we will be expanding the participation of women. Even if they can now have 2 trios, hopefully by next year we will be having 2 trios, and also it will be beautiful and lovely for us if we can also get an opportunity to do a Champions League. I'm sure you've seen another assistant wrestler who was a woman at the Akhona game. She was introduced. She was the only one. So I feel like there is a lot of development. There is a lot of hope that women really are being women are coming up. They are being introduced slowly but surely.
No, definitely. Slowly but surely, better late than never. And on that note, we also have to congratulate Dr. Patrice Motsepe on being appointed the president of CAF. It's quite an amazing achievement for South Africa and for Africa as a whole. We've certainly seen what he's done with Mamelodi Sundowns and how he's transformed the club and he's transformed Pretoria sport as a whole. Well, Akhona, back to you. I mean, it's been quite tough. I mean, times with COVID being around, and there's been time periods where it was on and off. Are we returning to play? Are we not? And I mean, how important is it for you as a referee to keep fit? Because during the hard lockdown, there wasn't much team workouts that could have been done. And how did you keep fit when you were alone? Mentally, wasn't it draining on you?
It was emotionally draining. It was frustrating. Feel mentally, psychologically, physically, and otherwise. Because I've never in my life been in the house for 21 days and not go anywhere, and would not be able to go for a run, be at the stadium or at the gym. Like, gym is my life, is what I do every day. So it was really draining. But even though I had to find a little bit of space in my house and start training and exercising, because we were now given a program except to do while we are at home, and we were still in South Africa. We were given programs that we need to do fitness statistics every day. We must show what we are doing, the training that we do every day. So wake up in the morning. You can't go for a run, but the little space that you have, you need to exercise. So I kept exercising at home in the space that I had. So I remember this other time I put in my earphones. I just wanted to run. I opened the gate at the gate around the house. I ran about 10 kilometers surrounding the house, running in the same space. It was so boring to do it because I was bored, I was frustrated, and all of that. In the flip side of it, it gets. I think it also gave me an opportunity to connect with my family and just to sit down, reflect, and look at the things that I want to achieve. Just go back to the drawing board, try to relax a bit, and remember, we were forced to take a little bit back and reflect on yourself, take another planning. What do you want to do with your life? This is the new normal. How are you going to train? How are you going to transform your life while you are inside the house? So yeah, it was really a frustrating time. It was really a frustrating time, but I really enjoyed it because I think in a space of like 2-3 weeks, I needed to train. So I find space for myself. I trained. I enjoyed it. Uploaded my videos and sent my statistics every week. So it was like gelling in. I was appreciating it. I was okay with it because when you cannot change a situation, you might as well appreciate it and embrace it and fit in, adapt. So yeah, that is that.
Such wise words there. Definitely, I can take so much motivation and inspiration out of that. You're talking about the drawing board. Well, 2021, we're in March. We have a entire DSTV Premiership season. We've got Nedbank Cup also happening. Where can we see you, and what have you got planned, and what are some of your goals for 2021?
My goal for 2021 was to officiate a cup final
Mm-hmm.
And also, I was working super hard to be the rest of the season. But bottom line is that I haven't been active in South Africa ever since the season started because I was always out of the country on international duties. So I need to check again. What is it that I need to do? So now I went back and wrote down that, okay, you know what? You need to perfect A, B, and C for you to come back and be in the competition again. Already, okay, I'm working obviously, but I need to get myself up again into the competition, into the running that, okay, maybe I can still be the referee of this, or I can do a cup final or something like that. But most importantly, now I'm focusing more and more on my international assignment because the bigger picture is there, but you have to perfect at home before you can conquer Africa, before I can conquer the world. So that is why I'm like, sit down, analyze your game, and look where you are lacking and where can you perfect it. What do you need to correct? Do I need a little bit of fitness? I need a little bit of movement, decision making, or whatever? So now what I do, I take all my games from Kasafa, I analyze all my clips, I analyze all my games from the under 20, I analyze everything so that when I get each and every game that I get, I know that, okay, this is what I need to correct, this is what I need to improve, this is what I need to perfect. So that is all about that. Yeah, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, and making it correct so that I can conquer South Africa, I can conquer Africa, and then I can conquer the world.
Well, there you've got it. That's definitely the mindset that every South African should have in order to reach the top. Akhona, I'd like to thank you for your time this evening and sharing your insight and your experiences with us on Salam Media. I'm sure that our listeners and our viewers at home on Facebook and on YouTube definitely enjoyed this segment, hearing so much about what it takes to be one of the best female referees in Africa. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good evening further and enjoy the weekend of football ahead. Quite an interesting one. What are the games that you're looking forward to this weekend? Before I do let you go, I have to ask you this.
I cannot say I'm looking forward to any games. Okay, I'm looking forward to watch maybe the Nedbank Cup, but unfortunately I'm in the village. I am out family responsibility, so I don't think I'll be watching football because we have some family events going on at home. So this is my home. This is my weekend to relax, reflect, bond a little bit with my family and my sisters and all of that. And then I'll come back to the busy city and start working.
Well, nice. It's nice to know that people in the sport industry actually take a break from sport. You're one of the fortunate few.
Yes. Trust me, I do that a lot. Sometimes I just, okay, I kind of forget about football, family, just for a weekend, and then I come back. Sometimes I can just, okay, forget about football, go and watch rugby. I watch rugby. Go and watch boxing. I go watch boxing, and then I come back to football.
Well, with myself being in the sporting industry, I definitely need to take a page or two out of your book. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Akhona. I hope you have a great evening further and enjoy your weekend off from sport.
Thank you so very much. Okay, I really appreciate it. It's a great honor.
It's such a pleasure. That was Akhona Makalima, the first certified female referee in Africa. Such an amazing interview. And for those of you that tuned in late, you can catch this live on, you can catch it recorded on Salam Media's YouTube and on their Facebook. And tell us your thoughts and what you thought of that interview. Drop it down in the comment section below. We're going to go into a quick break. And then when we do come back, we're going to be chatting about what you can look forward to in the sports world this weekend. Stay tuned to Salam Media. We're going to take a quick break.